Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Danion's Gaming. My name is of course Danion and welcome to my Barbarian guide on how to use the waste set and the items I'm running as well as the skills and the different variations of items that you can use. In the previous video that will be displayed on the screen right now, I showed Ashbringer. Oh my god! Finally, not ancient though. Ooh. And a lot of you guys have been asking about a guide what I'm running, why I keep my fury all the time up and why I do so nice amounts of damage. This is not by far the strongest build out there. Most likely the strongest build out there is the 3-part Immortal King and the rest of the waste set. I don't have that yet because I don't have the weapon. I don't have the weapon from the Immortal King. When I have it, I will definitely make a video about that. This guide will simply be about the entire waste set and how you can use it. So if we're going to take a look at these skills and why I keep my fury all the time up, I am using Unforgiven. You no longer generate fury, instead you generate 2 fury every 1 second. This means that you are always generating fury. Very nice to have. Weapon Master, I am using a sword, means that I have 8% increased damage. I'm going for maximum amount of damage in everything. As you can see, Rampage, increased strength by 1% for 8 seconds after killing and assisting in killing an enemy. This counts for the entire zone, so even if you split up in a rift, this will always stack, so that means that you have 25% more strength. And Rampage, as long as there are 3 enemies within 12 yards, all your damage is increased by 20%. Needless to say, this can be a bad skill if you want to do greater rifts and you have to fight a Guardian, because the Guardians usually take the longest amount of time. But overall, I'm using Brawler because I really like that skill. I can talk a lot about all these skills, but I prefer to do that when I actually have the set, so I'm just going to talk about this set. What I am using though, however, I'm removing Rampage for Bloodthirst when I am doing Greater Rift solo, so that I have a little bit more survivability, especially the regeneration is a little bit hard, and I sometimes intend to remove Weapon Master for Superstition, reduce all non-physical damage by 20%. Because in Diablo it's all about spells, and spells, for example, lightning and fire, they hurt like mad. So those 2 skills I usually change around. If I'm going to take a look at the skills I'm using, of course Whirlwind. Now, what the set bonus does is increases the damage of Rend by 500% and its duration to 15%. Nice. During Whirlwind you gain 40% damage reduction. Oh my god. That is really nice. Whirlwind gains the effect of the Dust Devil rune, and Dust Devil's damage is increased to 2500% weapon damage. So the bigger the damage on your weapon, the better these Dust Devils will become. Now there is a lot of controversy about if the actual Dust Devil rune here applies, and I can safely say it does. When you use this rune, the damage of your Dust Devils is almost tripled, or doubled I mean. It's ridiculous. Problem with that is you lose fury ridiculously fast. I am using the Wind Shear, gain 1 fury for every enemy hit, and I'm using the Unforgiven one. And you can still see my fury degenerates fairly quickly. That is why I have to use my Wind Shear. Especially in big packs, I am never run out of fury, meaning I can just keep on going. For Rend, I'm using Bloodbath. Enemies killed while bleeding cause all enemies within 10 yards to begin bleeding for 1100% weapon damage as physical. So again, the higher the weapon damage you have, the better. Warcry, it's all about resistance. For a Barbarian, resistance, all about resistance. This is a very nice skill to have. I'm definitely running that. For my normal rifts, I am simply using my 280 strength gems. When I go into a greater rift, I like to use my flawless royal diamond gems and a different variation in belts. For example, this gives me 27% more toughness, and I can swap that around. For example, if I want to have Rend 2 times, which is very nice because you know Rend does a lot of damage now. But I prefer to have this one, especially gold wrap on gold pickup, gain armor for 5 seconds equal to the amount picked up. Very nice belt to have, definitely a high amount of resistance. Battle Rage, critical, enter a rage which increases your damage by 10% and critical hit chance by 3. Now the critical hit chance is kind of negated, that's like meh, but 10% more damage, and critical hits cause an explosion of blood, dealing 20% of the damage onto all other nearby enemies. Very nice to have. And of course my Wrath of the Berserker, which is still a very nice skill to have. Wrath of the Berserker, while active, gain 50% more damage. This basically means you will be able to swap through every available mob in the game without problem, unless you go to greater rifts without resistance and you have a problem. Overpower, deal 30% weapon damage as lightning to all enemies. I'm using this one because your critical hit chance is increased by 8%. So I'm using this one in conjunction with this one. So that means that I have 11% more crit, and critical hits cause an explosion of blood, dealing 20% weapon damage to all other nearby enemies. So if I crit for like 100 million, 20% of that 100 million is divided to all other enemies. So the more crit I have, the more AoE damage I will do. Needless to say, for a single target this isn't the best, but it works fairly nicely. Also with my Wrath of the Berserker and these combined is very nice. As you can see, my spreadsheet damage is combined with this 2.6 million. That's not bad. That's definitely not bad. Alright, and then let's quickly take a look at the gear and gems I'm using. In terms of gems, for normal rifts I am simply using the strength gems, and especially up until like 35 greater rifts I'm using the strength gems just to clear them quickly. For 35 and up I basically switch over to my flawless royal diamonds for the increased resistance. It just gives me a little bit more survivability, and I really like that. I am going to level the Isotroc alteration. This is a gain 10% non-physical damage reduction, and that is increased. That is very, very powerful, especially in higher greater rifts. This will definitely add up to your survivability. If it comes to the gems I'm using currently, I am using the gem of Affixtious Toxin. It poisons all enemies for a nice amount of weapon damage over 10 seconds. Now obviously with the low roll on my Corrupted Ashbringer, that is not much. But since Corrupted Ashbringer actually does poison damage, I'm guessing these effects actually stack. That is why my Ashbringer does so much damage over my Warmonger. But that is just me guessing. I don't have facts for those. But the reason I'm using this gem is because it poisons all enemies for 10% increased damage from all sources. So that is incredibly powerful, especially when you're doing greater rifts, especially when you're doing normal quickly clears and all that like that. Sorry about that. That was just my phone going off. I could edit this out, but I don't do that kind of stuff. Wow. So Bane of the Powerful, gain 20% increased damage for 66 seconds after killing an elite pack. Immensely powerful, very good. You always have it up, especially when you have it above rank 30, so to say, and increased damage against elites by 50%. Incredibly nice gem to have. In my honest opinion, this is a gem everybody should run, no matter what class you have, because you always kill an elite pack. This is so powerful. Now there are a couple of things that you can use. For example, at this moment I am experimenting with the physical skill damage increase, because I am using physical skills everywhere. I'm seeing if that actually works more, but I'm guessing, and that is just me wondering, because I'm still trying that out, that the Taiguk one in here increases the damage. I'm guessing that is a lot better. I even could go for the Pain Enhancer. Critical hits cause the enemy to bleed for weapon damage as physical, and gain Blood Frenzy. I only tried this as a beginning. I don't think this actually works all that well. Pain Enhancer is not really that well because I have to sacrifice 20 physical skill damage for basically skill damage, physical skill damage. So I'm guessing this is completely useless. That is why I want to level my Bane of the Trapped, increase damage against enemies under the effects of control or pairing effects by 15%, and gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies. So basically, that is another 15% damage increase against all sources. The most important thing you want to have is gloves with perfect roll. Basically, you want to have a trifecta on this one. But in this case, I had to roll for critical hit damage, and it rolled so very nice, I kind of kept using this glove. The vitality could go for attack speed, but attack speed is not really that amazing after all. Having a little bit more survivability is not that bad. Now, the Skull Grasp one, the ring, increases the damage of Whirlwind by 330%. This rolled poorly. This thing rolled very poorly, but at the same time, it's not that bad. This is the one you want to have if you're going to go for the waste one. Very important. And obviously the Ring of Royal Grandeur, which is like the most horrible stats ever imagined in the possibility of rings. And I've always been getting this bloody thing. Attack speed, why are you not critical hit damage? At least then you would be useful. But yeah, I have to use this one. The belt. The Witching Hour, one of the best belts out there because it increases your critical hit damage. Very, very nice. I am using different belts though. I am using the Gold Wrap, very powerful for greater rifts. Even though the on gold pickup does not work. It's the itemization and the stats on it itself are very, very powerful. But you can also go for Lamentation. Rend can now stack up to 2 times on an enemy. So basically, if you really want that massive amount of survivability, go for a gold wrap or a belt that basically has these kind of stats, because the toughness increase is ridiculously good. So again, I know in Greater Rifts there is no gold, so I'm just using gold wrap because the stats, the primary stats on it are just absolutely perfect. So if I want to go for like 45 plus, I'm using gold wrap, not because of the secondary proc, but because of the primaries. So that we at least know that, guys. Or Lamentation, also very, very powerful. Rend can stack up to 2 times, but as you can see, the toughness is a lot less. But this is a very, very powerful one. Basically, that concludes my little guide in this one. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm going to show you a couple of clips. I'm going to show you what my Barbarian actually can do. I really like playing a Barbarian. I used to play a Wizard all the time. You guys might remember my Wizard guides. I kept making them. But now I am all into Barbarian, especially because of Ashbringer. Oh my god, Ashbringer. So yeah, say again. I hope you're gonna enjoy the videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please comment or subscribe to the channel. It always helps. I'm gonna make more guides in the future. It's been a little bit rough, a little bit hectic in my private life. But now that everything has settled down again, I am definitely gonna make more videos because I really wanna get the channel growing again. So yeah. Most important thing, in the description from the video and from the forum that you most likely have gotten this guide from, there will be a very detailed guide on the gear, on the sets. Basically, the video is just an enhancement on the guide itself. So if you like it, please rate and subscribe and all that kind of cool stuff. And keep on winning, guys.